episode 158 of 5 Drinks for Midnight. In the show, we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks, we try to wrap up before midnight. Today, we are headed to COQODAQ to talk to bar manager Matt Chavez. But before we do, like and subscribe, hit the bells, the whistles, leave a comment if you like the episode. Really help us push this in the algorithm. Let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me. 5 drinks or midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions, midnight, whatever comes first. Thank you so much for having us at COQODAQ. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is exciting. It's always fun to have 4 cocktails and some coffee before I start my day. This is awesome.
That sounds perfect. I love, yeah, when everybody was saying, like, let's do 1 o'clock, and I'm like, it's going to be a long day for someone.
Yeah. I can take a nap.
Yeah, you need a power nap. All right, well, I guess first question, what are we drinking first?
Here we have a little bit of coffee.
Okay, excellent.
So this is from Cafe Grumpy Roasters here in New York, in Brooklyn. Probably my favorite roaster is just I used to live down the street from it in Park Slope.
Okay.
And now I live next to one in Greenpoint.
Okay.
And it's just like my favorite roasters. But this is via Chemex. And it's just one of my favorite ways to make a coffee. And it's just delicious. And when it came down to 5 drinks, I wanted to be the most authentic myself that I could be. And I started the day with coffee. So it's my favorite beverage. I drink it black. I love it. It's more ritual than it is energizing at this point.
Right.
So, and one of my first and favorite tattoos is a little cup of coffee. So that's just kind of like
awesome. That's the first one?
Here. Yeah.
Okay.
Not my first tattoo, but my first favorite tattoo.
First favorite tattoo. Okay.
My first
awesome.
not bad tattoo. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
So yeah, cheers.
All right, cheers. All right, well, question 1, always an origin story. So, from San Francisco to New York to 50 Best to Spirited Away Awards and many, many other things, how did you get started in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Southern California, so that's like where I grew up in a town called Riverside, and we grew up like very borderline lower class, like middle lower class, like family, Mexican American household, and so like growing up, like I was just like, food was always important because it was something we always like gathered around, and just like I remember the first time watching like Top Chef, I was like, oh shit, there's like restaurants like this. It's like fascinating. I was just like so fascinated with that because like fine dining for me was like TGI Fridays.
Okay, yeah.
Like that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, so that was always like kind of planted the seed of just like I think I kind of want something bigger than just the small town I was growing up in, and so. My first ever restaurant job was when I was putting myself through school. It was at California Pizza Kitchen.
Okay.
And not ashamed to say it. I
was awesome.
so sorry. It was like started as a host and then as a server, and then it was my first like bar job. And honestly, it was like a drunken haze of like being behind a corporate restaurant bar like that because I don't know what the hell recipes I was using for martinis and classics and stuff. I know I made them, but it's like I didn't know what a dry martini was at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was still like making them for people, which is insane. So that's
was it all like pre-mixed kind of stuff, or were you actually really shaking or stirring up a martini?
I'm sure it was like poorly shaking.
Okay.
Just like, yeah. It's just like really bad martinis, and it's like someone asked for a dry martini, and I'm just like, okay, extra dry for me. Like, it's like cool. So and that was my first ever intro into like a restaurant job or whatever. And then when I moved to San Francisco, I worked a few different spaces. So I was like in education. I was working in writing centers, in classrooms, and I was a yoga instructor, and just like kind of like trying to find myself and trying to find out like what was working for me. And it all comes back to the industry. At some kind of like major shift in my life, and when I was living in San Francisco, I needed money, and I was teaching yoga, and so I went back into the service industry, and I asked around, and someone was like, oh yeah, someone's looking for a bar back. I was like, cool. That person ended up being Kevin Diedrich.
Okay.
Nice. The Cocktail Hub thing now,
Yeah.
Just like the Kevin Diedrich, and he was incredibly gracious, and he showed me like he told me what a coop was. He told me like it's like everything from scratch, and he just like was such a incredible teacher. This was at a bar called Jasper's that was owned by Kipton Hotels, and it got bought out, and the team disbanded, and I learned a lot just bar backing from him. And he was so good and gracious to his team that he made sure that he found a home for everybody after like all disbanded. And so for me, it was one of the bars that I just absolutely loved, and saw it as like some kind of like special like place in San Francisco where it's like a special occasion place for me, whatever. It was Comstock Saloon, and it was it's a historic bar. Yep. I was there kind of like in the heyday when it was like a real like strong cocktail like icon like this is. It's been around for over 100 years at this point. It was the original bar is still intact. When people didn't sit, they would just stand at the bar, and then the drains were at the bottom of the bar for people just to piss at the bar top. And so you didn't have to go to the restroom. You know, but that was my first like real cocktail bar intro, just like on my own, like seeking something that I was like, oh, this is actually something I want to pursue. So I ended up in San Francisco, and I met everybody that like I met so many great people. It was such a beautiful city. The best people that you can imagine like were living there at the time. I was there during the second tech boom before things like turned really, really ugly. And it was just like a magical time to like be a part of that city. And I didn't really have a mentor. I had so many mentors in that space specifically because it was just like a village that was accepting an orphan, you know. I was like a new kid learning everything and just like reading all the cocktail books and studying like a bunch of specs from like the Milk and Honey like spec book, and just learning every single day and just like bugging people and be like, hey, can you read this? It's just such an annoying like starry-eyed kid. But like it was the veterans, it was the rock stars, it was like the artists, it was like the sages, like everybody, like that place had such a good collection of just like different types of bartenders, and I couldn't have been more lucky to like learn from every single one of these like different type of people. So I got a ton of like bar philosophy knowledge, I got a ton of just like spec knowledge, I got a ton of just like weird nerdy creative shit. So it was perfect. And yeah, so like I hold that place like pretty dear to my heart, and then also it was a great scene to be in at the time because that's when like Trick Dog was on top and True Laurel was opening up, and I got to meet like all my friends who were opening those bars and running those bars, and it was the best food city in the country for like the longest time. It was the best produce in the country for like the longest time. So I still love San Francisco so much, but just like I left at a time when it was starting to turn a little darker. Just in my perspective. And I needed to leave the city before I disliked it or before I hated it. So that's when I made the venture to New York City. So that was, I'm 9 years in now.
Nice, congratulations. Cheers.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just this October. Hit my 9-month anniversary.
Nice.
And, or 9-year anniversary, and it's been pretty incredible. To be completely honest, like the catalyst was a person. I moved here for an ex-girlfriend who was working for Apple at the time. She got a job offer here, and I moved here. Obviously, it didn't work out, but it landed me in New York City, and I couldn't be more grateful for the way that life turns out sometimes. And you know, I'm proud of it. So when I landed in New York City, thankfully, my main person of contact was Ivy Mix. So
gotta love Ivy. Yeah, she did the show.
I owe a lot to her, and I forget that a lot of times, but like she was literally the person that opened doors for me. The first time I met her was in San Francisco. I was teaching yoga and working the bar at Comstock at the time, and I was teaching yoga class. Somebody stole my wallet while I was teaching yoga, and I lost like my ID, everything. Like, I lost my wallet, and tracked it down. They went on a shopping spree over in the Marina District. Cool. Well, it's gone. So we were still paid out in cash tips over at Comstock, and so I was like, well, I guess I'll walk to Comstock and get some money so I can get by until I get my new car or whatever. So I went to Comstock. I was like pissed off and sweaty and just so like angry, and I just showed up to my friend who was bartending and just like, hey, it was like lunchtime, and I was like, wallet stolen, came here to get some cash. And I was like, how you doing? Blah blah, just like bitching and just like releasing and venting, and then he's just like, cool. This is Ivy Mix. Have you met her? I was like, oh shit. I was like, what's up? And I was like, so this is the worst time to meet you. And so it was like such a good intro. And then when I moved to San Francisco, I got connected with Ivy again. Moved to New York. I got connected with Ivy again, and she again opened doors for me. She got me some massages, a massage at Nightcap, a massage at Death & Co. And then eventually she was like, listen, it's like Lynette, my partner for Speed Rack, she's opened up a new bar called Llama Inn. So like, just be a part of that. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's great, thank you.
It's awesome.
So I worked alongside Lynette, and then immediately she was just like mentor mommy, like, you know, just like really taking me in and embracing me, just like knowing that I was, you know, like just like a Latino dude, just like entering New York City bar space. Two, just like coming from San Francisco, which is a city that she like loved dearly, and just like we just kind of had like these really great like creative minds, and just like a love for the personal space of like bartending, and I just like, again, as much as I owe to ideas, that's as much as I owe to Lynette as well. So like she was incredible. So she opened up a lot of doors to me as well, and then at some point her and Ivy both reached out to Leo Robitschek of NoMad and sent my resume over, and from there is when I started my career with NoMad.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah,
it was an insane bar. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. If nobody enters that space, like except for like the starting team or whatever, as a bartender, you have to enter as a barback. And for me, that was like, for most people, it's like a blow to the ego.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I gotta take a step down, I gotta be promoted, whatever. And I understood the purpose like immediately. Like I started barbacking there, and just like there's so many things that are part of this giant ass machine, and you have to know like the cogs and like the inner workings of it in order to understand the outside of it. And so like, and I worked my ass off. I just like I come from a hardworking family, like working class, and it's like I always just like, my grandparents were always the people who were just like, listen, if you're a janitor, be the best fucking janitor. You know, it's like, be lucky you have a job, like be grateful, be proud. And that's sort of what I did when I walked into NoMad. I had to like swallow my pride. I was like, oh god, I bar back again, like whatever. I did it, and I put my head down. I didn't say much. I didn't like try to make a ton of friends. I was just like, I want to be the best at this fucking job. And it paid off, because like there were some people that bar back for years, and I was very fortunate. I bar back for 2.5 months. And Pietro Polino was like there at the time. He was like, hey, are you ready? And I was like, okay. I was like,
yeah, I'm fucking ready. Like,
I was not ready. I got trained up. I did the whole thing, and then working there was just like, oh, monster. It was a beast. It was such a thing, and like I didn't realize the world that I was getting into. It's like I now know like why New York proper cocktail bars are so specific with like unique New York experience, because like I didn't know the world I was getting into. I thought I was like I knew it all. I was like I came out like in a great scene. It's San Francisco. It's like we won awards, all this shit. And it's like I come here. I was like no. Like, they don't care.
Well, especially at NoMad, dude. Like that's just a fucking like that's a packed bar. Like,
it was intense. Like it was doors open. We used to have the connection from the main, like the restaurant bar, the elephant bar, and then into the NoMad bar, and that door was called the zombie door, because it would just like lift, and it was just like a zombie movie. It was just like people just like right at 5 o'clock, and it's like the zombie door would open, and we just hit from 5 o'clock all the way to 2 a.m. and it was insane. Met so many people. I got like a couple years into NoMad, I got promoted to head bartender over there, and I was like ordering for the space, like for a place like of that size and mass. Like I got to like learn a little bit of the operation side, and I really do hold McCarley-O'Neill was somebody who was a big champion for me, and he was a big mentor, and he was a very I don't know if you met him. He's a charming dude. But he just comes off as scary as fuck. He's just like a super stoic guy, Irishman. You know, it's like, but he was scary. He scared a lot of people, but like myself included, for the longest time. But like he took me under his wing and just like really gave me a chance and really wanted to promote me to be the head bartender and a leader of that team, which was like such an intimidating space for me. But I did it, and I did it with like a lot of pride, and it was incredible. And then 2020 happened, and we got to shutter our doors, and you know things obviously didn't look the same. We opened up for a little bit, but then we ended up shutting our doors for good. And I'm glad to be there to the end because it was really something I could just like put my name on. At the end of the day, I got like some cocktails in the cocktail boat. Like I got, you know, just made a lot of friends and some of my best friends. You know, including my wife. I met my wife at the event. I met my wife there. I met like my best man at my wedding there. So like my closest like friend group. We all came from the NoMad. It was a little bit of trauma bonding, but you know, but we all love each other, and it's great. After that, in 2021. I was sort of like looking for the next chapter and what I was going to do. I was a free agent. I definitely wanted to kind of take a step out from behind the bar into something a little bit more operation focused. Okay. Or brand side of things or whatever. I just knew I was ready for something a little bit different. And it was a testament to like the connections you make along the way. Because a good friend of mine, Patrick Smith, who's now like the bar director for all of Union Square Hospitality, Danny Meyer's group. He was in a corporate like role at that time, and we met doing cocktail competitions. Okay. So we met at Bacardi Legacy. Nice. And we were both like young, nerdy, starry-eyed kids, and now we grew our roles. And NoMad died, and he came up to me and asked me, "He's like, are you ready? Do you want to do this?" And we had an opportunity, and it was to open up Llama, which is Danny Meyer's like post-COVID modern Italian like hot restaurant. And I was like really stoked to give it a shot, and I'm stoked that he considered me. I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I got to build my own menu from scratch. I got to build my own program from scratch, and he was like great enough to like kind of like connect with the people I needed to connect, whatever. And I worked with Hillary Sterling, chef, and she was such an intimidating beast. She was a scary ass chef, but when you earned her trust, which I did, she will have your back until the end of time. Awesome. Incredible person. I miss her working with her alongside, but I made a really good friend along the way. So it was really good because like it was people who were passionate, people who cared. It was like people who cared so much that you know they put their anger, sweat, tears, all those things into it. I always prided myself in being like one of those people. So to put myself into an Italian program to make it more than just like an Italian program. And this is kind of like when the Italian programs were like making their like hot buzz, like scene. I had a chance to like really put myself into it, and I was just I could have just winged it and just been like put Amaro and everything. I did a little bit more food focused cocktail program and a little bit more kind of mature, I don't know, whatever. It's like, but a little bit more thought, or a lot of thought that went into it. And Punch Magazine, like that year, put my martini on the list of best cocktails of 2021. I was like, yeah, it's not something that from that opened a lot of doors. I got to do like a lot of interviews for the cocktail program, which should have been just like a small restaurant program. Ended up being this like really buzzy, cool thing. Nice. And that's when I got to meet like a lot more friends. It was great, and like lots of new generation. And outside of like the program success, I started realizing like the really real thing that I was getting satisfaction from was building and mentoring my team. I got to hire a lot of new gen bartenders and really champion like them and just like build them from scratch and make sure they felt supported, make sure they had a lot of education, introducing them to a lot of other movers and shakers, taking them to dinners, taking them to events, and I was like, this is so satisfying. And I got to kind of build a team that I wanted to see like be like the future of bartending, which was like very femme-driven, very like person of color, like very queer-heavy, like that. It's like just like this growing up, and even though it was San Francisco, very progressive, like the only people you saw like there were people of color behind the bar were barbacks. And for me being like the only brown person behind the bar, like or one of the very few in a scene that's very like not me represented at that time, was like now I get to do something that's it's not much, but this is the impact I made.
That's awesome.
This is like the power that I have in this industry is to
giving
build
back.
a new generation.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So that was amazing, and I put my heart into that for like 2.5 years, and after that, it's I met Sondre Kaysen, who's our director of bars for the company, Gracious, as part of COQODAQ. He is someone that I met like years ago when I used to just get off of work early at NoMad, and I used to go to Undercoat, and he was like literally behind the bar.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And we used to, he would pour me martinis and we just shoot the shit. And then years later, we reconnected, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I got this project. It's called COQODAQ. It's gonna be the future of fried chicken." I was like, "Okay, all right, let's see." And we just had a few chats, and then after that, I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. That sounds amazing." So him and I got to partner up and build this like beautiful menu, and I got to do the bar team all over again.
Right.
A lot of my friends, or a lot of my team from Chisiyama, like came to follow me over here because they wanted to work for a new program that I was doing, and it was great.
That's awesome.
It's great, and I got to like build a team, build a new menu, keep it seasonal, keep it fun and sexy, and I mean we're still riding on this like really cool, successful, sexy little bar that we built.
That's very sexy.
Yeah,
It's super sexy.
So and now that leaves me here.
That's
We have a
fucking
good time.
awesome. Again, I just think that's a fucking awesome origin story. So that is just so fucking cool. That's question one. So a fucking awesome origin story. Cheers to you.
Cheers to that. Yeah.
Question two, drink two. What are we drinking?
This is our White Pine Rust here at COQODAQ. So this is going to be our agave sour.
Okay.
It's a split base of mezcal and blanco tequila.
Okay.
And also a little bit of lemon, vanilla, and black currant. So yeah, just like it's really vanilla, blackberry-ish kind of forward, refreshing little sour.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh yeah, that is. Oh, that's fucking delicious.
Thank you.
I mean, I'd say it's perfect for a day like today, even though it's not supposed to be perfect for a day like today. But thank you, global warming, for being almost 75 degrees in New York City. So, fuck yeah.
This is where we ended. Yeah, it's, I mean, the agave sour to put on the menu is going to be a top seller until the end of time. Like, it's just like the rules. So why not go big and make it delicious?
Yeah,
You know? It's like, let's do everybody a favor here. But it's going to get ordered no matter what.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's good. Like, also, like, that's the bonus here. But
Yeah.
so yeah, this White Pine Rust is a reference to black currants. So it was illegal to grow black currants in New York for the longest time.
Okay.
And it's because it used to carry this invasive disease that would harm other plants.
Okay.
And there was a farmer from New York that was able to kind of genetically alter it and start planting black currants crops that were without that disease. So that's the name of it. And so now, like, we do have currants in New York, which is really awesome. It's delicious. But the name of that disease was called White Pine Rust.
Okay.
So it's a little ode to that.
Awesome. But, all right, so question two. What does the term hospitality mean to you?
I love asking that question, like in interviews, with the follow-up of like specifically in New York, because I feel like hospitality just kind of changes like wherever you're at. So I mean, New York hospitality is extremely specific in its own thing. And then West Coast hospitality is a little different. And then Southern hospitality is like its own thing. You know, it's so it's kind of different wherever it is. But I mean, I guess like at the end of the day, just being able to kind of learn the language of whatever space you're in, and then find the ways to make sure that you can do whatever you can to make anyone entering a space that you control feel comfortable, feel homey, feel like they're welcome, feel like they're protected, feel like they're being taken care of. I think the peak of hospitality is like when you can make somebody forget about anything that's like not anything negative in their lives, you know, just take them away for a little bit. If they could just like zone out for a little bit and just be like, this is the space I'm living in right now, and I feel like I'm being taken care of. I don't have to worry about anything. Like that's huge, and it's also like such a hard thing to achieve. so many times. Like I try to find it in every space, and like I obsess over it too much. Every new restaurant that opens, I have these like high expectations. Or actually, no, I shouldn't put it that way. I have kind of lower expectations. I'm just like, it's like this is. I'm probably gonna be disappointed. I'm probably gonna spend a lot of money. I'm probably not gonna feel good about it. Whatever. But whenever they can prove me wrong and just completely blow me away, and just like if I can forget that I came in here with the negative expectations, like. They did it. They did hospitality. You guys won hospitality. It's amazing. But, and yeah, I mean, growing up with like being raised by my grandparents in a lot of ways, we grew up around the dinner table. You know, it's like my grandma always had like a big pot of beans and a big pot of rice and holding tortillas, and you know, it's like we had every single family announcement and holiday and birthday, and like at that dinner table specifically. And it was always incredible because like every time you bring somebody home, it was like that was a different, whether it be a friend or a new girlfriend or whatever. It's like welcome in with open arms. Let's feed you. And so like now that I get a chance to like host a party every night and just like feed people and fucking like serving drinks and like just take them away from whatever like going on out there, like dude, like I'm so lucky. You know, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So. I guess that's what hospitality is. It's just like sort of owning the space that you control and really sort of altering it and tailoring it to each person and making sure that they feel welcome and they're respected and taken care of.
Awesome. You guys have a motto that's on the website, and I find it really interesting that there's no such thing as a perfect recipe here. And how do you bring that into like something along here? Like, I just love that. And there's more to it, but I just love that kind of motto. So like, how do you bring that along into?
I mean, listen, it's nothing you do is going to be the right thing for everybody, right? Like, there's always going to be someone who's like, this is not my thing, or just like hating on it just to hate on it. Yeah. There's always going to be a thing. Nothing's perfect. It's fine. But I mean, like the intention when building this menu is just like really to make something for everybody. Like on the menu we have like a cool like whiskey highball. We have Alaska martini. We also have a bunch of cool stir boozy drinks. We have this little crusher. We have a bunch of like refreshing stuff. We have an Instagrammable cocktail with like an egg as an ice cube. Like, you know, we have something for everybody. And then like a shit ton of non-alcoholic cocktails too, which is like something that, you know, we really put our hearts into. So yeah, it's none of those cocktails are going to be perfect. None of those are going to be a crowd pleaser. If you pass it around to a room full of people, like 100% of people are going to like it.
Right.
It's just not the way that works. It's not the way that anything that's consumed works. Like it's not perfect, but like let us make something that's perfect for you. And we get to do that every night, which is like super fun. The team behind this bar is like, they're really the ones doing that, but like they're really good at reading people and being like, you don't like this? What do you like? Dude, we have that on the menu. I'm gonna make it for you. So it's pretty sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I might just want to last follow up. Where do you get inspiration? Because again, you know, you talk about reading and like doing the research and everything, but then again, like culture, everything. Like, and you said that you really enjoy making seasonal menus. So like, where does the inspiration come from? Like,
So I used to study art. Like that was like my main goal when I got into college, was like I wanted to do like, I don't know, art curation, whatever it was. Like I really wanted to chase down, and it's still like the biggest like kind of like part of like my heart is art and music. You know, it's like so I still like. I go to museums, I look at paintings, I look at modern artists, I look at like past artists and stuff, and I just like find inspiration. Like a lot of that from that, and I'm just like, that's a really cool emotion. That's a really cool color scheme. It's like, how do I translate like this like really like awesome color scheme into a glass?
Nice.
So a lot of it kind of like comes from like just pure aesthetics, which is like where it starts, and like I love that challenge of just being like, how do I fuck around with ice? How can I make this glass like more than a glass? Like, you know, it's like, what can I do to alter this to make it like enhanced and cool and really engaging or whatever? So it starts there. It starts with a challenge. It starts with something. It's like a lot of times it's finding something that like I haven't seen before. And I'm just like, do that.
Right.
I love to do that, and so I go for it. And then the other part is cooking, going out to eat and cooking is like the biggest thing for me. Like I love cooking. That's like my comfort zone in my house is the kitchen.
Nice.
It's me, my wife, my 2 cats, like just like hanging out,
Nice.
listening to music or a podcast, and just like I'm going in and making like pasta from scratch or whatever. But like I love cooking so much. And so I approach like cocktail making the same way. It's just like I add a lot of salts and acids to kind of adjust, because like that makes flavor pop, right?
Yeah.
So like whether it's like stir cocktail shaking, whatever, like salts and acids like really make things pop. Finding big fascination here with tea.
Right.
So just like kind of like exploring like a diversity of like tea.
Nice.
Like there's just so many ways to implement it and like incorporate it into your drinks, but also like just the flavors are so different across the board. And it's like that's super fascinating to me. And yeah, it's like whenever I go into a supermarket or a farmer's market or whatever, it's like I'm about to make a dinner, and sometimes I'll find an ingredient and it's like, that's gonna go in a drink. Like, I'm pretty sure that's gonna go in a drink. Yeah. So it's the kitchen, and it's a lot of like art consumption. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Well, there we go. Question 2. Killed it.
Love that.
Question 3, drink 3. What are we drinking?
This is our Alaska Martini.
All right.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
So, Green Alaska.
All right.
It's done Vesper style, so it's
All
a
right.
bit of a split base of Chopin vodka and Boatyard gin.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of blanc vermouth in there. It's the style Bianco vermouth, which has like a lot of like savory herb note, which is like delicious, a touch of sugar. And then a split base of green chartreuse and Midori.
Excellent.
So yeah, we just wanted to make we were building the classics like menu, just rips on classics.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But when it came to Alaska, I was like, what if we do the green one? It's like, what else is green outside of just green chartreuse that's gonna like really pump it up? And so, gee, when's the last time we grabbed the bottle of Midori?
Yeah.
Let's get fun of it. And it's like, what if the garnish was like an atomic cherry? It's like, what would that look like? It's like, oh, it looks awesome.
Yeah, that's
so,
fucking so sick.
So the birth of the COQODAQ Alaska was created out of that.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's the 2 cocktails that are like dear to my heart are just the tried and true classics of like margarita and martini. Those are typically what I'm gonna be drinking on my days off, and they're so different as far as like what I want out of them. Check 2 completely different boxes. I've heard I was take on the margarita, and I'm kind of on the opposite side of that.
Okay.
I feel like the margarita is like the pizza comparison. Right?
Okay.
Like a bad margarita and a bad pizza, still pretty good.
It's
Still satisfying.
Yeah.
And then like a dive bar margarita, sometimes I'm just like, I'll drink this though.
It's
like,
still
shitty tequila, whatever.
It still works. Yeah.
But then like a really good margarita, like hits.
Yeah.
But on the martini side, like I just love martinis, and I've had so many bad martinis in the city. For it to be like something special whenever I get like a good one, or I'm very specific of just like where I go to get a martini because I know it's going to be good instead of just being disappointed. And I love that the freezer martini is making a comeback.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the best way for quality control for a drink that's the hardest cocktail to execute. Like in the history of cocktails, is you stir it a little bit too long, it's over watered, over diluted, and it's not good.
Yeah.
And if you stir it too less, like it's not cold and it's warm and it's not good.
Yeah.
So like freezer martini, like hey,
Very nice.
hats off to everyone who figured that one out.
Not question 3, but does it surprise you that there's a lot of shitty fucking martinis in New York City? Like it kind of does. I mean, I would say yes, but like it really. Like for a city that kind of invented the booze lunch, like it really like why? How can it be so bad?
I know, dude. Like hey, fucking sorry, New York. Like no shade, but like same thing with coffee.
Yeah.
I was like when I think of like New York, I'm just like coffee, bagel, martinis. It's like it's not good coffee. It's like in the martinis. There's so many bad ones.
Yeah.
But I think like maybe it was romanticized because the dudes drinking martinis like you see like in the Mad Men era.
Yeah.
We're drinking bad drinks. It's like whatever it is. Like they didn't care. It's like they don't have the palates. Like
they're just there to get hammered and go back to work. Yeah. All right. So again, we talked a little shit, but which is perfect because question 3 is we call this our talking shit segment because we've had 3 drinks. So.
Looking forward to this. Yeah.
What is the one thing that you absolutely hate about New York bar culture, and one thing that you absolutely love?
Great. The thing that I hate the most, I am very proud to like witness that it's like kind of going away is ego.
Yeah.
Like I remember being a part of here and just like having the rock star bartender being in front of you and just like I say him. It's like mostly like you know it's mostly a dude like just being an asshole to you for no reason. It's like I never understood that. It's like why like you're working against your own interest for one. It's like that's your money, but it's like. And what do you get out of that? You get to talk shit about the person who tipped you bad because you're a jerk to them afterwards. Like what's the win here? Or just like the ego of I don't know, just like arrogance, ego. That was always something that was like so off-putting because like it's most of the time, almost all the time, it's not their business. It's the business that they're representing. And it's so sad because like there are so many times where like I meet the people that own these bars and I tell them it's like listen I respect what you do like a really cool program you got going on there but I will never be back there because I was treated this way because of that person and like I'm not trying to get them fired or anything but I'm just like I don't like to feel that way I don't like to feel like I'm inferior or I'm looked down to or just like ignored. It's like we just talked about hospitality for like a good few minutes opposite of that, it's like I don't ever want to feel unwelcome to a place, especially like in this city where everything's so expensive. Like, dude, I'm throwing money like down, like just to be here, and it's like I don't want to, make it sound like I'm buying your attention, or whatever. But like, it affects me, it affects my wallet, dude. Like, it's like I want to have a good time. Like, listen, I'm happy to pay. I just want to have a good time though, and if you're gonna make me feel other or inferior, it's like that's like what are we doing? Yeah.
Well, and two, it's a small fucking world. Like, even though it's in New York City, but like, everybody fucking knows each other. So like it's a small fucking world. So like it's just like
And that's a big like hiring criteria for me. It was just like no egos. Like we're not really here for that. Like we're just here to make friends, kind of thing. So. And I'm really glad to see that that's like kind of on its way out, and people are recognizing that. And it's more about community than anything. So like. Hats off. Hats off to New York, man. And hats off to everybody who's like hiring. Doing that. So, really good stuff.
And do you think COVID changed that?
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Like because again, people really came together, community-wise. Do you think if there wasn't 2020, like that 100%. Would still be it kind of still be the same?
Yes. Yes. For sure. Like I remember going through this. It's like. Auditing certain candidates' resumes with like my bosses at NoMad and receiving a bunch of candidate like resumes like here now, and when I opened up Llama, it's like so different. It's such a different thing, and I think myself included, when I had a chance to build a bar team from scratch, I had a chance to hire all my veteran friends, or like people that I knew that were like looking, and I had a chance to like the rock stars, like the big names, whatever, is like could have went that route, but I think a lot of people didn't because like there's like okay, either they're on doing their next thing, which is the great progression that we all should have done, but if they're not, like it's maybe they get hired for a reason. I don't know. And so a lot of people went the other way of just like hungry people that, and also I always find it extremely bizarre because like a lot of us like are misfits and are in this generation of bar because like this is not what we originally intended. It's like
I love that. Like it is almost like the Rudolph Misfit Island kind of thing, like where you're like, oh, this isn't what I was wanted to do.
The lost toys.
Yeah.
No, Charlie. That's why I'm a misfit toy. My name is all wrong. No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box, so I had to come here.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking love that.
But yeah, it's like this is not what we intended to do. We're all like the artists and dreamers, whatever,
Yeah.
that just like couldn't find our space in the world that we wanted to like create a career with. And it's really fascinating for the newer generation to be like out of high school and being like, I want to be a bartender. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be a bartender. Don't do that. Yeah.
Well, no, that was, we've talked a lot lately, just past guests of just bartender is no longer a dirty word. It's really kind of becoming this thing of where, like, when growing up, that wasn't really a job. Like sommelier or like chef wasn't, like, chef was not a thing that you become.
Yeah.
Chef was like, oh, that was just somebody that cooked. It wasn't anything that was really, and now it's kind of changed that whole idea. And I think bartender or service industry people are getting into that way as well, is that there are starting to become startenders but in a much better way. Like it's really kind of,
it's not a dirty word.
It's not a dirty word. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Like
No, I remember for the longest time it was a very hard sell to like tell somebody. It's like I mean, whether it was like partners or going to their friend circles, like they worked 9 to 5. It's like they just like telling people, it's like I work in a bar.
Yeah.
And it's like specifically for the longest time in their heads they just see like I mean I'm not in their heads, but like this is what I assume is like they see somebody working at a dive bar,
lower class,
serving shots and beers.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, but like I work at a bar that won a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
That's like gorgeous.
Yeah.
But it's packed every night, and like I literally get to travel for my work, and like I get to meet all these people, go to events and these parties. It's like it's not the person that comes to mind.
Yeah. No, they like that because again, it's always that stupid like where do you live? What do you do? And how much money? Like kind of thing. And you if you say someone bartender, and they're like, oh no, what do you really want to be? And you're like, no, I want to be a fucking bartender.
And also, no shade to being that bartender.
Yeah, no shade.
This is like my favorite places in the world, or like my neighborhood dive bars, like whatever, dude. Like, but it's definitely shifted and it's definitely changed, and like, thank God. I mean, like, it's great. It's great to see like media sort of like put a different spin on it, like the chef's tables and like the drink competition stuff, and like drink masters and whatever. It's like, but it's like really put a sexiness and like romanticism to like what we do, and like also just really getting in depth to like the creative side of it, and just like recognizing like, oh, this is an art form, this is a creative form, this is like really something that you need talent to do. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, you're creating. Like again, this was terrible, and but I hate that stupid joke. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, honestly, like fucking nailed that one. Like that was.
Oh man, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that's good.
That was fucking amazing. Like both things. Sick as hell, but yeah, no. Well, there we go. That's question 3. We didn't talk that much shit, and so we're good.
All right.
Question 4, drink 4. What are we drinking?
This is not a signature COQODAQ cocktail. It is just something I really, really love. This is a Martinez.
Okay.
Served on the rocks.
Awesome.
If ever, cheers.
Cheers.
If ever I'm lucky enough to find myself a seat at Attaboy, this is usually what I go to, because I know they can make it well and
Very
right.
Nice.
And
very nice.
In all transparency, this was an order that I stole from an ex of mine.
Okay.
So every nice cocktail bar should order Martinez on a big rock.
Okay.
And if you're watching, thank you. But it's delicious. I mean, like one of my favorite drinks of all time is root beer. Okay. And it's got a lot of those root beer qualities. I use a blend of Coqui Vermouth de Torino and Punta Mez, so it has those deep, rich chocolate notes, and it also has those sarsaparilla, spice, kind of baking spice things. And so the blend of those two is a perfect vermouth blend in my opinion.
Very nice.
And yeah, it lends itself to be this really cool rootsy, root beer kind of thing, vanilla, those kind of things. Yeah. I love this drink so much.
So question 4 is a little bit of a psychological question that I like to ask new people since we've just met. But you have a beautiful bar here. So if you ever have 5 people belly up to the bar, who would it be? Living, dead, current, past. Who would you want 5 people bellied up to the bar?
First person that comes to mind is Tom Waits.
Okay. Awesome.
I need Tom Waits at the bar. He's gonna have so many bar stories. He's gonna get people engaged. He's probably gonna start a fight
Yeah.
at some point too. So definitely Tom Waits. Person number 2 would be my wife. I want her to experience all the bullshit that's about to happen.
Yeah, she wants to see her see Tom Waits getting over.
Yeah, she's gonna see it.
Right.
Cool. As far as this is gonna be like a local call for New York City, but if anybody knows Jack Sullivan, Sazerac Jack, Big Cat, he's just like a legend and one of my closest friends. He actually officiated my wedding.
Okay.
He is one of my favorite dudes in the world. But if you ever sat either on either side of the bar where where Jack is working, this guy is make some stories, create some memories.
Awesome.
This guy's the man. This is awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna go with. Give me Steve Buscemi.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Give me a Steve Buscemi, real New Yorker.
All right.
He's got stories. He's got a lot to say.
Yeah. All right.
He's got charisma. You know.
Fucking love it. All right. Love it.
So yeah, just give me that, and then give me a Bourdain.
All right.
I'll take a Bourdain as well.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's like I want to hear his opinions. And I want to see if I pass the Bourdain vibe check.
Yeah.
Then we're doing something right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a fun mix of people.
And then, what cocktail are you making that represents your journey in the hospitality world?
Just a martini.
Yeah, okay, excellent.
Because I think we mentioned it like multiple times
Yeah.
during this chat. But starting off at a restaurant bar where I don't even remember what I did for a martini to a point like now where this is like a very important drink to me and I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Like if I can end by or full circle like my bar world journey to serving a really good martini, then like that's something I could like put my hat on, be proud of.
Nice, excellent. What is your perfect martini?
How
do you like it? Like, because I know Ivy also like is her one of her other than a pina colada is like she loves a good 50-50 martini.
Yeah.
So like that's
so 2 versions. The first one being probably the thing I'm most likely to drink is the 50-50 martini. Shout out to my head bartender Kirsten, who's this is basically her order. Dash orange bitters, 50-50 martini, gin, blanc for me.
okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Heavy juniper gin for me.
Okay.
I need to taste juniper in it. But yeah, 50-50 of blanc. Give me a little bit of sugar, a little bit of heft. It's super satisfying.
All right.
Yeah. The other would be the martini that I like to construct is like a split base of gin, split base of vermouth.
Okay.
So I like a little dry. I like a little bit of blanc.
Right.
And I like a juniper forward gin, and I also just like a heftier gin.
Okay.
Dash of orange bitters always. Hate olives.
Okay.
Just gotta
I was gonna say garnish wise. Like, what are we doing?
But the move is give them the choice.
Right.
So I love the decanter. Put it on crushed ice.
Okay.
Fill up the rest of your martini like later, and then give them the option of twist.
Okay.
Olive, onion.
Onion. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm a big mushroom onion guy because that was that was what my grandma drank. Like that was such a thing.
Oh,
but,
really?
Yeah, she loved a good. And again, I'm from Wisconsin, so we do weird fucking shit. So, but like I love an onion mushroom in my martini like that. But I also like a good caviar bump as well. But, but yeah, I do love that.
Yeah, it's a big part of me is like I'm not a fan of savory drinks as much as I love just like cooking and food and stuff and making those connections. Savory in a cocktail is just like not it for me.
All right.
Yeah, it's like it's to the detriment of like my team who's always presenting some really cool like ideas that you have a savory element and I usually have to shut it down. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, not for me. Well, and then off of that, do you have like let's just say someone sees you walk into the bar, do you have like a cheers moment where like when you get to your seat, like there's a cocktail or a drink waiting for you? Like what is that drink? Because a lot of people say beer and shot or something, and you talk about how much you love Merlot and like all that shit. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean like to be on theme with like what we're doing here, and this is not typically like how we start the meals here, but like I think a big handshake for me, and also the way that I want to start off my meal personally, that's like it's hard to find good champagne in the city.
Okay.
Like if you pour a little splash of champagne
All right.
before we start drinking and before we start going into cocktails, like
All right.
that is like a tip of the hat. That is like a proper
Very nice.
and handshake and a good way to start off the meal. But one thing I love more than cocktails is champagne.
Okay.
So like yes.
All right.
If ever you have a great champagne program and you pour me a little bit of that, like before I start diving into cocktails, man, my night is perfect.
All right. Awesome.
I actually just ran the New York Marathon.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. For City Harvest, right?
For City Harvest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ran for charity.
We did good stalking. Research on you.
Oh, thank you. Personally, raised about $3,600 for City Harvest, and like as a company for Gracious, we raised about don't quote me on this, but like upwards of $40K.
Yeah.
So like we're doing a lot for them, and so stoked to do it. But very proud to run the marathon. But the way we celebrated was we went to dinner, had a bunch of pasta. Martinis, champagne. Like
nice.
The entire, like that was
yeah,
it.
That's
like,
perfect.
This is the one. These are my favorite beverages.
There you go.
And
awesome.
here we are. Like I'm just like covered by them.
There you go.
Be more happy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Question 5, drink 5, last drink of the night. What are we drinking?
Shot and beer time.
All right.
I mean, this is usually what I'm ordering if I go out to like any bars. A shot and a beer. It's how we kick off the night. That's how we typically end the night as well. But you know, it's like it's a little bit of a jump start. It sends the edges off of whatever's happening that evening, and it's just like it's beer's food.
Yeah. Well, especially in Guinness, it's going to be it's a loaf of bread. So yeah.
Exactly. So lovely Guinness. We're very fortunate to have Guinness on draft here. And a shot of Four Roses.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, fuck that. All right. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
We don't split the G in this house.
I was going to say, like, I'm glad you pulled away quick because I was like, oh shit. Like, if I have to, well, that's going to be a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of beer that, you know, it's like I want to, you know, savor.
Very nice.
And not just chug. I'm also just about to chug beer.
Yeah, same. Like, it just,
Yeah. I mentioned my love for Four Roses earlier, but like one of my favorite Four Roses stories really quickly was my first day live as officially promoted bartender at Comstock was a lunch shift. And I was working behind the bar, and a car drove straight into the bar.
oh shit.
It was, so we're located in North Beach. There's like a lot of hills. A car just like, fellow was like talking to me right in front of me. There's a couple having lunch with their daughter, like over in the corner on a table, and a car just drove straight through the glass doors, hit the guy in front of me into the actual bar top, and kept driving a little bit almost into the kitchen. Just like sat there, cigarette in mouth, unlit, sat there till the cops came. And crazy day. But the owner was downstairs. He came up and was like, what the fuck just happened? And once the cops came, like obviously they were handling it, he was just like, because we had two bars, so one bar was open for lunch that got hit. There was our main saloon on the other side, and so he was just like, join me in the saloon. He went to the saloon and he poured out Four Roses for all of us. He was like, what the fuck just happened? So, special place in my heart, forever.
Fuck, wow.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm glad you're okay. Like, yeah. Oh, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Alright, so question 5.
Yeah.
Comes down to flipping the whiskey Wednesday coin. You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want. The coin will give us the answer. You don't have to answer. This is this is just a silly way to end the night. This is just a silly, silly question.
Love it.
Again, we've enjoyed 5 amazing drinks. So again, this is just a silly way to end the night. But, question 5. Is it true you got the job because you have 3 chicken tattoos?
Leave it up to fate.
quiz. Fuck yeah.
Oh no!
I mean,
I thought it was all my years of experience and talent.
I'm sure that's also, but I mean, again, any guy that has hand tattoos of chickens deserves to be, again, a place that's known for chickens, which is the best chicken in New York. So, like, that is...
It did play a very memorable role in or moments in the interview process.
Yeah.
So Simon Kim, owner, and Victoria James, who's a legend in the scene, they were my second round of interviews, and they did mention, it's like, oh, what's on your head? I was like, they're actually chickens.
Chickens, yeah.
And I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you know, it's made the decision for them.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. Fascinating with chickens, love them. Weird birds, fascinating birds, aesthetically just like fun looking birds.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are birds is
Yeah.
like crazy too. Like, you know, they don't fly. They're just there.
Descendants of dinosaurs?
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually have a disgusting amount of bird tattoos.
Okay.
I have 2 toucans
Okay.
here, I have a dove here, I have a chicken here, I have 2 chickens on my hands. And I have a Mothman here,
Yeah.
in the second bird.
Which looks French, by the way.
Yeah, I got this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But when I got the toucans, like my tattoo artist was like very excited to do it. He was like, I love doing birds. They're so dinosaur-like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So,
Chickens are full fucking dinosaurs.
full
yeah.
dinosaurs. Yeah.
And a weird fun fact, chickens recognize up to 100 faces. So, like, if you ever meet a chicken, they'll probably remember you.
I
So,
love them.
yeah.
There we are.
Well, that is 5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. Sir, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Yeah.
your time. And thank
Such
you.
a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Till we can drink together again.
Till next time.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.